add one key notes that you have to remember the idols. So, what is the meaning of idol? We are covering the both literary devices and figure of speeches. This term is actually taken from Greek itself. It means little picture. Writer James Thompson, he is using this method, classical idol method of the poem. That it means that the short poem in a pastoral, spell it correctly, pastoral poem, or you can say ruler character that show the ruler character. So, for example, if in exam it comes odd and even, which are the classical idol. Just take out the categories of classical idol poem, write the other example, and you will get notes by itself here. So add in your notes. Afterward, so graveyard school is already mentioned previously. If you have not seen that video, just visit that video and have look at over that. So Graveyard School is the 18th century group of British writers who are consist of Thomas Gray, Edward Young, and Robert Blair. So for this, I will provide you notes here, or this section you will can see the notes also. What is the theme? Their theme is very important. They use dark theme, moral reflection theme, melancholy tone or sad tone. So graveyard means grief, brevity of life, rich and poor, write each and everything, rich and poor, because it show the different section of the society. So add the example of the famous writing from their works like Elegy is the famous writing by Gray. Read the whole poem, Elegy written in Country Churchyard, or I will be trying to read that poem line by line. And another writer is Edward Young, whose poem is Night Thought. This one is important. Then another written by Robert Blair, that is The Grave. So these three are the representative poem of Graveyard School. If you have any doubt, particular doubt, you can comment down so that your doubt will be clear, or you can ask, you can interact with me, or how you are making your notes and participate in that. So the line we are starting from here, the most important single poem in the mid 18th century is the Gray Elegy. You're not going any coaching, you can explore more yourself. Its full title, Country Written in Churchyard, like this, and this one is completed in the poem itself completed in 1750, but published. Don't write like me, completed, you will become confused. Just write, it is published in 1751. In book, you can highlight. Its full title is written here, and Thomas Gray dedicated his inspired to his friend Richard West, who died at the young age. So, note down in your notes, he was his companion at Cambridge. So they both are the friends, and he died at the very young age. And you can remember in UGC NET exam, if you have solved, so you have found this word, his close friend, he dedicated this poetry, then he write this poem upon the grief and reflection on the morality of the Richard West. But what happened? The famous writer Johnson. Samuel Johnson didn't like this theme of showing grief in the form of poetry. So he criticized Thomas Gray in the Lives of Poets. And you have also find that Thomas Gray have written with imagination, poetic skill that is not liked by Samuel Johnson. So he criticized his image. He criticized for that and for using too many artificial words and complicated style in his poetry. Targeted Thomas Gray in his poetic style. He also criticizes because of the Pindaric ode. So I don't want to make it more tough. I want to make it more easy. But I will tell you the two datas. Like he criticized Thomas Gray for Pindaric ode because of the progress of poesy work, and another word work is the bard. For he criticized for being obscure, and another thing is difficult to understand for the common people. He targeted to Thomas Gray. So this much we have completed. Short and simple annal of poor subject matter. Already I have told you the subject matter is about the poor and short and simple. Samuel Johnson is asking, you are adding about annals of poor, then you are using artificial thing, complicated. And to these are the subject matter to teach the rustic moralistic to die. Then the graveyard itself. The elegy has often been associated with the rather earlier graveyard school of poetry because this particular poetry is not graveyard school of poetry. It used to be included by graveyard school of poetry because some writers are writing in this style. So that's why they have included this style as the graveyard school of poetry. The Edward Young, his work, Night Thought, you have to read this one also. And that is subtitle as. So key fact is already there, subtitle is already given on the life and death of the morality. Is the grave. They are saying these poets reveal great length in death because they are writing on the death, morality, creating atmosphere, delight, gloom. So this word, remember this word, delightful gloom. The trend toward this kind of melancholy traveled to the Europe and being fashionable during the height of the European Romanticism. So till in the starting only we have compared it this till reaching toward the Romanticism, we are seeing the rise of graveyard school. Read whole extract, the word, the melancholy ghost of the dead renown, what it means, then whispering faint echoes of the world applause. What is the meaning of world applause? With the penitential aspect they pass. They pass means about the ancestor they are talking about. All the point at the earth and his. His is the old English language. What is the meaning of his? At the human pride, the wisdom of the wise and pensioning of the great. Take out the whole data from there and write in your notes or write in the book itself. Moving forward, Thomas Gray Elegy is considerably different in the emphasis, although served with the greatly humanistic melancholy. It is the some sense life affirming reconsideration of ruler value. So what they are doing, they are reconsidering the ruler values. Here this line is important. Ending is the often read involving the poet suicide. So why they have mentioned about poet suicide? Because one writer, you can comment down below which writer suicide this time and why they have mentioned. The elegiac element concern the passing of the poet's own life, consideration of loss in the village, lack of the ambitions. So Thomas Gray in his poetic, they have shown that some people have ambition of becoming this and that, but they can't fulfill because of their responsibility, because of their destiny also, because they are uneducated, because they are poor, various things they have mentioned in this. So they have two, three themes, cover that one. The realistic pastoral four lines, four-line verse, that is quatrain, echoing some Pope classical inspired dialogues. So cover this one also in your notes. What is the quatrain? It will finish your literary device. Then Eclogues. What are eclogues? Value, unadored language, mid-century mood, and become the highly popular. So this line they have given again to say you have to find out the full many gems, the purest ray Senre, the dark unfed grave of the ocean bear, a full many flower is born to bush unseen, the waste is sweetened on the desert air. So here are the phrases, cover the phrases, and you can because when you do the keywords, no, from other words you can guess this is line from graveyard or this line could come from this poem because of the theme. The elegy can read as a poem against the morning, anticipating word worth concerned with the agriculture life and useful labor. So here the book itself criticized to the elegy. They are saying this elegy poem it's read against the morning because this poem does not show the sadness at all. So because of that it got attacked and because of that it got criticized. Finding the meaning in the lives of including epitaph. Epitaph is very important. Just add what is the epitaph and why writer use this, why it is used. So this one is the epitaph. Remember this one, important, and read it sincerely. Who is the first poet laureate? John Dryden. But what happened before John Dryden? The poet laureateship given to the person that is Thomas Gray, and he refused this poet laureateship because he doesn't want to get public attention. He refused the poet laureateship and that poet laureateship is given to John Dryden in the age of the what is the date when he was appointed? Remember that 1668, given by which king? King Charles II. Say the real continuation of the graveyard school is influenced more to be found in the imagination terror of the Gothic novel rather in the village life writing which come to be pre-romantic. Actually he was writing very good, but that is not liked by the companion writers by Thomas Gray. They think that he's writing if he's writing on village or if he's writing on the sadness melancholy, so why his poetry have enjoyment, why they have like imagination. So remember these things. The true successor of great poetry are so this line is very important because in UGC NET they always ask about who are the successor and also who are the companion. So companion I have already told you Robert Blair and other two writer we have already done here. The two writers Robert Blair and Edward Young, these both are the companion writer of Thomas Gray. But who are the successor? It is also important. Oliver Goldsmith and William Cowper. George Crabbe. These writers are successor writer. Remember their name. So I am just highlighting. You can include in your notes so that it will be easy for you to just mark and mark in your notes itself. Goldsmith already used the deserted village concept. The task is also related with the household domestic writing, rural life, and George Crabbe wrote under like with the same title, which written by Oliver, The Village, 1783, and famous one is The Borough, 1810. These range of poetry started from the blank verse to the heroic couplet. Okay, They have started writing with blank verse and they are using heroic couplet and the letter format in their writing. In the search of their form that could document in the real and the life of the ruler poor, this was the time of the agrarian revolution. Just add in your notes what is agrarian revolution and which are the writer writing during this time. Write the timeline. If you want, these are the only writer who are writing this time, this revolution. The above writer are only the writer who are writing. When many people were forced to move from the country to the newly industrial cities in the search of work, the resulting desolation is the subjected Goldsmith poem. His poems show the agrarian revolution and theme of that how villages are becoming lonely and they are forced to adopt harsh city life. So till here we have completed. Next we will cover successors of Thomas Gray and then we will reach toward the Romanticism.